All right, welcome everyone. This is our third video about Gmail. In this video, we are going to cover how to schedule an email, schedule send, how to use the toolbar. So I'll go over briefly how to use the toolbar, how to snooze an email, the different tabs, like I have primary, social, and promotions, and then how to do canned responses, or they're also called templates, and how to request a read receipt. So how you can set it up to know if someone actually read an email that you sent. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about today is how to schedule send an email. So scheduling an email is a great organizational feature. It is super easy to do, and you can even send things to yourself to remind you to do certain things in the future. Let me show you how to do it. First thing, you want to write your email. So here is one that I'm just going to send to myself. I can also add a link to this email so that to make it easier for myself. So I am going to copy and paste in there so that I have this. All right, so I have the email. Now I need to schedule send it. So you notice right next to send is this shark tooth. So just like the skinny snowman, there are always exciting things behind the shark tooth. So I'm going to click that, and right there it says schedule send. It will give me some options. So tomorrow morning, this afternoon, Monday morning. So those are the canned ones. But I can also pick date and time. So I'm going to pick a date and time because I want to send this reminder to me on Friday, May 7th. Now I can actually pick the actual time that it goes out. So I could change this to 3 p.m. Let's say at the end of the day, I want this to go to me, and then I click schedule send. Now you notice it's gone. So you may be like, ooh, how do I, if I want to change that and maybe have it, remind me in June, how would I find that email? So you can find those. So what happens is this will pop up. This was not here before because I had no scheduled emails sent. So if I click on scheduled, so here is the email that I have scheduled. If I click on it, it shows that it is scheduled to go out Friday, May 7th. At 3:05 p.m. Now let's say I want to change that and I want to cancel it. I can cancel that send, and then if I want to pick another date, I can do scheduled send again, and let's say, you know what, I should probably register earlier because I might get a discount. So I'm going to do when I get back from spring break, so maybe the 12th. And then do a schedule send there. The next thing I want to talk about are the different toolbars in Gmail. So there are 2 toolbars, as you notice, but they're a quick way to archive, trash, mark an email as unread, to snooze an email, to star, or to mark an email as important. You can select one or more emails to move, delete, and label. You can refresh your email, and you can change your view. So a lot of options with the different toolbars. So right now I am in the inbox view. So I have inbox, so here's my inbox. So right now, when I'm in this view, I have these options for my toolbar here. And so this one is the little box is the select box. This allows you to select all of the messages on your screen. There is a shark tooth next to it. So there is a shark tooth where you can select just the ones that you've read, unread, starred, or unstarred. So if I did star, it will just highlight those ones that I have starred. So that's that. The next one is the refresh button, and that allows you to refresh your email and to check for new emails. And then you have the skinny snowman. You can mark all as read. And then if you go over here, you can click to newer emails or older emails. I only have 10 in my inbox, so I don't have any older emails. And then over here, you can toggle between the split pane mode and the single pane mode. So you have those different options. And then up here is the help button, which is always helpful, for lack of a better word. You have training, you have updates, and then you can always send feedback to Google. So Google is constantly updating their products, and they do a lot of it based on the feedback. So if you have a good idea for Gmail, just click the send feedback to Google, and it'll offer this pop-up window, and you just type in what you would like to see in the future for Gmail. And that's available in Google Docs, Google Sheets, everywhere. Whenever you see that little circle with the question mark in it, that's the feedback key. Right here is the settings key. So that's where you get to all of your settings. And then this is all my Google apps. And then of course, that's my account. So those are the toolbars. Now, after you select an individual message, a whole bunch more options pop up. So let's look at these. Up here, you can archive it. So if you notice, I already have this labeled as administration. So any email I get from Sean will automatically be labeled as administration because I set up that filter. So I could just archive this, and what that will do is it will put it in my administration folder right here. So that's an option that I can do. I could report this as spam. I could just delete it. I can mark it as unread. I could snooze it, and we'll talk about that, what that means in a minute. I could add it to task. I could move it to a folder, and I could add a label. Now it already has a label, but let's say I'm going to do another label called food truck, and then I could create another label right there real quick, and it's got administration and food truck label. The Skinny Snowman has more options, but as you can see, many of them are the same. So I could mark it as unread. I could mark it as important. I could remove the star because it's already got a star. I could filter messages like this. I could mute that conversation, or I could forward as an attachment. So what that means is I could forward this whole email, so it will show up as an attachment, but it's a new email. So those toolbars up there, and if you notice, when I click on this, I have options also. And actually, I don't even have to have it selected. I can just hover, and these 4 options pop up. So archive, so that means put it in that label over here. Delete it, it's gone. I can mark it as unread, or I could snooze. So those 4 pop up. So there's many ways of doing things here, many toolbars that show up. So one of those toolbars that I use all the time is this snooze feature. So a lot of times there are emails that I don't really need to respond to right away. So when I snooze them, that allows me to prioritize in the future. If I simply leave this email unread, there's a possibility that it could get buried in other emails in the future. So this email about the food truck is coming on the 1st. I'm going to snooze this email, and then I'm going to have it pop up in my inbox on the 1st to remind me about this food truck. So I could click on this little clock to do snooze. That's one way. And then I am going to, so there's no option for Thursday. So I'm going to pick a date and a time. I'm going to have it remind me on Thursday at 9:30. I'm going to click save, and that email is gone. That email will show up on April 1st at 9:30 though. If you're worried and you want to check your email that you have snoozed, to show up in the future, you can click on this right here. This is this just popped up because I snoozed an email. You can click on this folder over here, and it'll show that I have this email. When I open it, right here it says it's snoozed until Thursday, April 1st at 9 a.m. But it's out of my inbox, which is kind of nice. So snoozing emails is perfect for those emails that you do not need to take care of right away. You can snooze them and schedule them to return at a later date and time. Very cool. I use it all the time. So we talked about inbox type in a previous Gmail video. But now I'm going to break down this primary, social, and promotions tabs that you can have it set up. But your incoming mail will be sorted into these three buckets, so to speak. And there are other options besides the primary, social, and promotion. Those are just the ones I personally chose. This is what works best for me. Please do what works best for you, though. So let me show you real quick in the settings how you can set up your different tabs. So if you go into settings, to all settings, and then you're going to go to the inbox tab. So we have a lot of options here. We're going to go to inbox. And right here, this is where you have the primary, social, promotions, updates, and forums. Now primary is a default, so it looks like it's not checked for me, but it's a default. You always have a primary. So as you notice, as I hover on any of these, it gives a definition here at the bottom. It gives a definition and then an example. Okay, so if I click on social, this is social messages from social networks, and an example is YouTube. Promotions, marketing, interests, social, political. So here is some examples: Lizzie and the Khan Academy, All About Your Health, with Audible, and then Loft. If I do updates, these are personal auto-generated updates, including confirmations, receipts, bills, statements. So this is, there's some examples. So there's like Amazon and Lowe's, things like that. And then if you hover on forums, those are messages from online groups, discussion boards, and mailing lists. So examples, which is interesting, are like Bob, or Dr. Bob and Brian Davis. So that's interesting, but I don't have that checked. So those will not be filtered. So that's kind of why I didn't do the forum one, because it seemed like that should be a primary. So that was just a personal decision on mine. I don't do the updates and I don't do forums. That doesn't mean I don't get those emails. It just means those are filtered to my primary inbox. And plus, I didn't want to have 5 different tabs I had to check. If you do make any changes, just make sure that you save them. Okay, the next thing we're going to go over are canned responses or templates. If you find yourself sending the same response over and over, you may want to set up a template email. So let me show you how you make this. The first thing that you have to do, though, is you have to enable your template responses. So let me show you how to do that. So you go into your settings. You're going to go over here to advanced settings right here. And then templates, you're going to enable them. The default is disabled, so you want to enable it if you think it's something that you'll use in the future. And then click Save Changes. All right, so let's make a template. So I'm going to compose an email. So here is my example. I have an event that people are registering for, and this is the canned response. This is a template response, and it says, thank you so much for registering for the workshop. We will send out more information the beginning of next month. Be sure to keep checking your email, and be sure to check your spam folder too. If you're going to use templates, and if you have a signature, you want to make sure that you delete your signature in the template, because if not, it will just duplicate your signature. Okay, so I want to save this as a template. So over here in the 3 dots, you have this template option. So I'm going to save this draft as a template. And I'm going to click save as a new template. So here it is. This is the suggested name, but if you wanted to change it, so maybe I want to take that example out of there, I can, or you can call it something completely different. And then you just click save. So if I was going to use this template and I would open up an email from someone else, and I'm going to click reply. I'm going to click on the skinny snowman, click on template, and here is that thank you for registering my new template. I click on that and it brings up the body of the email, and then I just click send. So I do like the template response. It is a nice way to save you a little bit of time, and of course you can always add to it. It doesn't automatically send it. It'll show the email, and if you wanted to add a little bit more to that template, you can, to give more information or tweak it a little bit, or add the person's name in it instead of just, you know, hello. So that is nice. This last Gmail tip is how to set up a return receipt. So it's basically how you can set it so you know that the person has opened the email. And what that looks like is you send the email. Once the person opens it, you then get another email saying when they opened it. There is a limitation to it, is it's not available on your personal Gmail. And like I tried to send a return receipt from my work to my personal and it wouldn't work. So it has to be within our domain. So it has to be like you sending an email to a colleague, a Washington local school colleague, or it does work with students. So you go to compose and you put in, so I'm of course going to use Gabby. Let me say please read. All right, so here's the email sent to a student saying this is super important email with time-sensitive information. You have to read this. So I want to make sure that they read it. So maybe it's a scholarship application, something like that, where you want proof that you let them know that it was happening. Or maybe it's their Ohio State test scores and you're telling them about you know, you're telling them about retakes, and you want to, you know, you want proof that they did read it. So right here, as always, in the Skinny Snowman, you're going to go right here to request read receipt. So you want to click that. So I'm going to send that email. All right, so I just went in as Gabby on another computer and I opened the email. I didn't respond, I just opened it. So let's refresh our email to see if we get that receipt showing that she read the email. And right there, there it is. So I'm going to open it so you can see what it looks like. This is your return read receipt from Gmail. And it says to Gabby, it does say the subject of the email that you sent. It doesn't give the whole body of the email, but it does give the subject. And then it said that I sent it 3/29/21 at 12:03. And then Gabby was right on it and she read it not even a minute later. So she was on it. So it shows that she read it. I probably, if I did this a lot, if I had read receipts, I would probably do a label. It's called read receipts, just so I keep those, and then I can just move it out of my inbox so that if I would need to refer to the fact that she did read this email, I can reference that in the future. So I'm going to create that. So let me show you what the email looks like for Gabby. So I'm going to go over here. Let me switch accounts. So here's Gabby's email inbox. I'm going to open this. So right here at the bottom, it shows that a read receipt was sent to Sarah Hoffman at 12:03. So that's all I have. The only other tip I would give you for your emails is to go through and take some time, and you can do this while you're watching TV or something, is unsubscribe to things that you don't want anymore. So here's one. I'll open this one up, and usually the unsubscribe button is really, really, really small somewhere at the bottom of the email. So right here, unsubscribe. So I'm going to click that. How often? I don't want them at all. So here at the bottom, they kind of hit it. It's kind of tricky. I want to unsubscribe because I no longer want to get emails from Saks Fifth Avenue because I can't afford it. So I'm going to click unsubscribe. You know, it takes a little bit of time to go through and unsubscribe, but it's well worth it. And you can do it like while you're watching TV or something. So, all right, so that is Gmail. 3 videos. Please let me know if you need anything. You can email me. You can set up an appointment. But have a great day.